Hi there, welcome back to Mill Creek Church, the place where you belong. We are so thankful that you came out and chose to worship with us. We're currently doing our Wednesday night word of encouragement. If you'd like to find out more information about Mill Creek Church, you can visit us on the web at millcreekbaptist.online or join our Facebook group that you will see displayed on the screen. And if you would like to know more about Mill Creek Church, please feel free to fill out our Connect Plus card that will be linked in the description below, and someone from our church will be reaching out to you shortly. Today's reading comes from Psalm chapter 62, verses 5 through 8. My soul waits in silence for God only. From Him is my salvation. He only is my rock and my salvation, my stronghold. I shall not be shaken. How long will you assail a man that you may murder him, all of you, like a leaning wall, like a tottering fence? They have counseled only to thrust him down from his high position. They delight in falsehood. They bless with their mouth, but inwardly they curse. Selah. My soul, wait in silence for God only, for my hope is from Him. He only is my rock and my salvation, my stronghold. I shall not be shaken. On God my salvation and my glory rest. The rock of my strength, my refuge is in God. Trust in Him at all times, O people. Pour out your heart before Him. God is a refuge for us. Selah. What do you do when your days are full of noise? Sometimes life seems hectic, and if you're like me, hectic is your version of normal. There have been days where, before sitting at my desk to write, I'm not only done with today, but perhaps the whole week. Life is moving at record-breaking speeds, and the best that you can do is just barely keep up. A Pew Research Center study reported in 2020 that 74% of adults with children said that sometimes their lives were too busy for enjoyment, adding that multitasking is necessary for daily life. That same study reported that almost 20% of adults interviewed in this category didn't just feel that way sometimes, but rather all the time. So there's a sense in which all the noise and chaos of life is a root cause for lack of joy and fulfillment in life. In other words, the more we try to keep up with the Jones, the more we find a lack of fulfillment in our lives. The Bible articulates as much through the prophet Jeremiah. At the time of his prophecy, the nation has turned her back on God just as an adulterous wife turns from the embrace of her faithful husband. She is trying to run after the things of the world, seeking them in the crevices of the hills and on the heights of the mountains. All the while she has neglected the commands and precepts of God. In this situation, God speaks and says, "Surely the hills are a deception, a tumult on the mountains. Surely in the Lord our God is the salvation of Israel." It is too easy amidst the chaos and confusion of life to neglect your time with God. And it is in this time, in the quiet time before God, in the individual and communal study of His Word, that we should find our delight, our joy, and our pleasure. Now, I'm not suggesting that every day has to be an 8-hour Bible study. But are you looking for still moments to praise God and thank God for the day? Are you looking for Him to be intimately involved in your life, from your morning coffee to picking up the kids from school? Are you meditating on His Word and working your way through digesting those large biblical principles? The answer to those questions is no. I would plead with you to seek the face of God and allow time for your soul to sit in silence before Him. When the noise of the world reaches decibel levels where nothing else is audible, tune your ears to the still small voice of God calling you to Himself. If that means quitting something or removing yourself from an obligation, then do it. There is nothing more important than who you are before God, and that's not something that just happens overnight. Sanctification is a lifelong journey, and it is well worth the effort. Are there any noises that you can think of that prohibit you from communing with God? Are there any that may not prohibit, but make it easier to neglect that time? How much time do you spend with God on the average day? How much time is left?